5, everyone off mute. 5, 4, 3, 2, action.
Hey.
Let's get motivated.
Karen.
Lyric.
Natalie.
Welcome to DiverSisters podcast, where we uplift and inspire. This is the first episode 1. My name is Karen. These are my co-hosts, Natalie and Lyric, and we're so excited about what's in store for today's episode. But first, let's hear our joke of the day. Lyric, give it to us.
Where do bad rainbows go?
I don't know. Where do
bad rainbows go?
Prism. It's a light sentence.
That's a good joke.
Okay, so to start off this podcast, I just wanted to start with a really quick motivational quote that I really like and does relate to today's topic. And that is, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams," said by Shoyo Hinata.
That's actually a great segue into what we will be talking about today. Shoyo Hinata is actually one of the main characters from the show Haikyuu, as I'm sure you know. Today we're going to be talking about finding motivation in anime, specifically Haikyuu. For those of our audience who don't watch anime or have not yet watched Haikyuu, I'm going to give you a quick summary under 2 minutes. Let's go. Haikyuu is an anime about a high school male volleyball team aspiring to go to nationals and be in Japan's top prefectures team. The team is called Kurasano High School, and they were once in the top prefectures, but it has been declining over time, and now they're known as the Wingless Crows. Now, both of you have seen the full show, correct?
Yes.
What did you guys think of the show?
So Haikyuu is definitely one of, if not my favorite anime, definitely within the top 2. It's just competing with like one other show for that spot. But when I first watched it, I figured I would like it because I'm the type who's really easily entertained, and I know a lot of people love Haikyuu. But you know, going into it, knowing basically that it's a sports anime about volleyball, which is a sport I like playing, but don't really know much about, never really had a lot of involvement in. I didn't think I would like it that much, at least not, I wouldn't get involved in the degree that I am now. So it definitely caught me by surprise in that regard of how good of a show it is. But like I said, it's quickly and easily become one of my favorite shows ever. And it's just something that I hold very near and dear to my heart for many reasons.
I love that, Natalie. I love that. I definitely agree with Natalie as well. It was a big surprise for me because a lot of the other anime that I've seen has actually been a lot of romance related. So a sports anime was never in my interest. But I decided to try something new, and it definitely made me like, oh my goodness, this is one of my new favorite animes, and I can't wait to share it with everybody else. So.
That's true. I personally hold dearest Haikyuu. So now that we're going into that you've both seen it, which character do you see yourself in and why? As you know, there's many characters.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think is great about Haikyuu is that it's really very much a character-driven show, and there's a lot of different aspects of each character that you can really see yourself in, and because there are so many characters, you're bound to find 1 or 2 that you relate to, right? And I could personally make a short list of characters who I see some of my own traits in, but if I had to narrow it down to one, it would definitely be Yamaguchi. And I love telling people that because I love the look of confusion that they get on their face, mostly when they first start watching the show, like when they're around season 1 and they're like, you relate to the one first year who's not on the starting lineup, who barely gets any screen time. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the entire reason I relate to him. I can definitely see myself in his feelings of inadequacy and his anxiousness about letting down the people who rely on him because he doesn't see himself as necessarily worthy of their faith, of being, he doesn't see himself as someone to be relied on. So it makes him really nervous when people do rely on him. And he definitely feels left out, especially, like I said, being the only first year who's not on the starting lineup by the first few episodes of the show. But one thing that I really love about Yamaguchi is that he takes the steps necessary to overcome his feelings of inadequacy. He sees that he is not providing much to the team when compared to the other first year. So he says, you know what, I'm going to seek out mentorship. I am going to go out of my way to find something that I can provide for the team that no one else can. I'm going to make myself useful, even if it's not in the most flashy or conventional way. And then he becomes a pinch server for the team, which again is a position that's not very flashy, noticeable. Going into the show, I did not know what a pinch server was, but he's really important to turning the tides of a lot of the games throughout the series. So I can definitely hope that I can improve myself in the way he did.
Oh, I love that. I kind of wish I picked Yamaguchi just from hearing you talk about him. But I would have to say for me, I have to be Shoyo. Even though he's the main protagonist, when he's in the first games he's played in, no one really knows who he was, having no previous volleyball experience and being very short for a volleyball player. He's already depicted as someone who's overlooked, very similar to Yamaguchi, but with Shoyo, he definitely has like this an undertone of being like strong, but it's not like displayed at when you first see him. So from this, people made assumptions about him before he even got a chance to show his capabilities, and it comes off in a way he comes off like this way, but he's really a force to be reckoned with. And for me, that's how I come across with people before they actually get to know me. So that's why I love Shoyo.
I think you both hit on great points, especially because if you think about the first season, actually Shoyu and Yamaguchi are pretty much people who are nervous for the game before you head out. And then afterwards, like throughout the seasons, like the third to the fourth, you see they're kind of, you shouldn't mess around with them. Okay, as we finish off, okay, ladies, so let's actually go a little bit more deeper. Now that we've talked about some of the characters and now that you've seen it, now let's actually talk about some characters that go overcome obstacles or some teams and how these impacts have to deal with adversity in our own lives, how we deal with it.
Okay, so like I said earlier when I was talking about Yamaguchi, one of the things that I really like about Haikyuu is how it's very much a character-driven show, and specifically that the show doesn't just focus on the main team, which is in this case Karasuno, but you get to really delve into the inner psyches and workings of the other teams and their players. And one of the things that I love the most about Haikyuu is that, with a few exceptions, mainly being like Kageyama and Ushijima, none of the characters are naturals or like what you would consider prodigies in volleyball. And so they all have to work hard to get their skill levels up to be where they are. And I think one of the characters who I see this the most, and who I'm going to say it is easily my favorite character in this entire show, is Oikawa from Alba Josai. Because one of the things that I love the most about Oikawa is that it's literally the title of one of the episodes that Toru Oikawa is not a genius. He's not a prodigy in volleyball. Sure, he's got some natural athleticism and stuff that helps him out, but he's not a genius, especially when compared to Kageyama, who used to be on the same team as him, or Ushijima, who he has never won a game against. It's something that really eats at him and that he has to overcome. But despite this, I would say that of the characters that interact with him, he tends to be one of, if not the most respected players, in terms of he's not a prodigy, but every single time Karasuno has played against him, they're like, okay, so we got to beat Oikawa. This is the character we need to watch out for. And especially for, like I said, most of the characters aren't geniuses, but there are some exceptions. And I think it does stand out to me. It sticks out that those characters who are natural prodigies at volleyball hold him in such high regard because of his skill and really look up to him. So yeah, that's something that I just really love. And it's definitely helped me to see that even if I'm not necessarily the best at something, that doesn't mean that I don't have a place in it, and that I can work hard and really improve my skill to earn the respect that I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree. I feel like Oikawa, like sometimes you forget that he's so like, you think that he's a prodigy, but he's not. And that's what really gets you. That's actually one of my favorite arcs when they actually compete against him. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But I still have to go with Shoyo for me. But with Shoyo's height being a disadvantage in recruiting him, he surprised everyone on the team with how high he can jump to reach heights compared to his peers. And in the first match when he loses against Ahoba Josai, it's his first defeat, his first loss, and it's a big one because this match was actually to determine him going to nationals in Tokyo. And so this actually took a big blow to him because they lost, and he lost on the end of him using his signature move with Kageyama, and it kind of took a big blow to his confidence. But along the way, he learns that this is not a loss from basically him, but it's more of a loss as a team, and as a team of strength. So they need to work harder. And once he realized that, he uses it as a motivation to get stronger and to work harder. So I believe that because he comes with such a strong innate ability to, no matter how hard the loss was, he comes right back up again. And I think that's something that's very beautiful. So
Now, that's actually well said. I've actually always, whenever I think of Oikawa, I always think about like that moment where he dedicated his time to watch the video of Karasuno to know like the whatever moves and beforehand, which is something like, I guess, as a team, like as a player, you could do that, but that's just an extra mile you're gonna do that for. You're gonna do that like as if you were the coach, you're guiding them, and that's just it's just amazing. But I guess for me, like my 2 cent, my favorite it's actually it's funny. My favorite character when it comes to overcoming obstacles, I guess have to be side by side is Asahi and Nishinoya, because that time when they went not exactly went against Abujosai, but they went against Daytech, that loss, the whole team felt like it was a burden. I think Asahi felt so bad because he's timid outside, and on the court he's the ace. He's that person that hits the final score, and because that wall was so huge, he kind of quit. And you can see that in other teams, like their players slowly started to drift away. But I think Nishinoya is the person that's like, I'm gonna improve myself as well. Like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna be that person. I might not get it 100 times, but I will be there, guys. Like, if you missed your shot, I'll be there to like support you. And I think I just love that.
Yeah,
Now that
sorry.
no, you can go.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I also just do love about how so many of the characters overcome adversities, that they have to do so by relying on each other, which I think really goes to show how important it is to rely on other people, specifically within the context of this show, because they constantly say volleyball is not an individual sport. You cannot win without the help of your team. You can't touch the ball twice in a row. It's just definitely a good lesson to take away.
That's true. I can agree to that. Now that we actually talked about characters that relate to us, as well as certain characters and teams that overcame obstacles, I think now it's important to address why Haikyuu matters. Ladies, in your opinion, why do you think it's important that Haikyuu was created?
So, like I said before, it's really interesting going into this show when you're a person who, even if you mildly enjoy volleyball in a more casual way like I did, you really don't know much about it. So you're kind of, thinking you're not going to be able to keep up with the rules and everything, which at the end of the day, you kind of do have to understand certain aspects of the show, but that's not really what the focus is, which there's a lot to, basically what I'm saying is that there's a lot to take away from this show other than just volleyball. The show provides you with a lot of lessons and inspiration that can actually help you in a lot of different aspects in your life, which is something that I found. Like one of my favorite arcs, which I didn't think I was going to say this when I first came to the arc, because I got so much secondhand embarrassment at first. I had to literally stop watching the show for a week, but it was Hinata's ball boy arc. I just want to say I was really embarrassed when he showed up to the training camp. Like I put pause and just did not come back because I was like, I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but it ended up being such a good arc because it was really one of those moments, where he had to face a challenge and overcome it. Specifically, that arc taught me to look for opportunities in places where you may not expect them. He wasn't allowed to play volleyball, but he still found a way to improve his skills, still found a way to help himself and help the others around him. So I think one of the things that makes Haikyuu so important and so inspirational is the different lessons that you can take away from seeing how the characters interact with each other, how, like we've been talking about, how they overcome obstacles, and just how they rely on others in order to help them become better versions of themselves.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. There's as she said, with the relationships, it's definitely emphasized in the show very much. And I think that it kind of highlights the importance of teamwork, especially not just as a team, but even outside on the court, in school, and how they interact. It's very strongly shown how important friendship is to them, and how that's shown in the court. And I think because of the dynamic between all the characters and the relationships, and how hard they how hard they work both in the classroom, on the court, when they're just hanging out, it kind of provides inspiration for me and for others to pursue being better, just being a better person overall in life, and being a better person in the relationships that you have with others. And I think that this is something that's a universal thing that can apply to any aspect of your life where you want to grow as a person, where you want to overcome obstacles, where you want to create new relationships. So that's one of the reasons why I love watching it. So
That's just great. You guys hit on both. Phenomenal. Like, no comment. I can't even respond to that. That's just so good. Okay. Like I was saying, wow, guys, this has been a great conversation. I wish I could talk about this forever. It's literally one of my favorite, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. It's been so great discussing these topics with you, with learning who your favorite characters are and how these teams are able to overcome obstacles. For me, hearing your response or you guys' responses, it made me realize the great work that the makers of Haikyuu did. As a person who does sports, you can see like the great work of making it feel like you're there, and like understanding understanding certain rules and plays in Haikyuu. But I think like overall, it also made me the show like made me motivated, because not only do you see the physical characters, you also see the other characters outside, like Kyoko-san, which is the manager. And you actually, if you get more in depth, you actually hear about her story, which I found phenomenal, how she got involved. And she as well wasn't like, she's kind of like the dark horse. No one like mentions it to her, but she makes a key component to help out like certain things. Like if you remember like the poster or the flyer that says like and as well like the idea of looking for like once your last year is over, you don't have to, but she found someone else to replace her, which I thought that was like, wow, these people behind the scenes, the coach, the advisor, like I was like, oh my god, this is so real. It amazed me. So that's why I'm saying as well, this show motivated me, because it's amazing how fictional like the show inspires you and really relates to you. So if you never watched anime or don't know much about it, my suggestion, watch Haikyuu. It's a great show to start with. You'll be immediately hooked, just like we are. And I can guarantee you, if you do not like it, maybe it's something else. But I personally loved it. I've been a fan since the moment I saw it. Any last words, ladies?
No, I think you wrapped it up pretty well. And I think we said all that we need to say. At least I did.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I had so much fun with you guys talking about this, though. It was I'm very passionate about talking about things that motivate people and that make people want to be better. So I had fun.
Yeah,
Thank you,
definitely.
guys.
It was really nice to be able to talk about like different aspects of the show because I feel like the motivational aspect of Haikyuu is one of the reasons I love it so much, but it's not necessarily something that people talk about a lot. So having this conversation was just really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I also enjoy it. It was so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the DiverSister podcast, where we speak our truth and seek to motivate, inspire. We hope you all had fun because we had a ball. We will be back with you next week with more, so try not to miss us too much. Okay, ladies. Let's do this one more time for the road. For the road. Hey, hey, hey!
Let's get motivated.
Motivated.
Great job, guys. Great job. Great job. Hold up. Let me stop.
My bad.
Great job.
My bad. I did it too early.
No, you did good. Okay. Pause
Oh
recording.
no,